and the situation we are in. You understand? Because that's the most important thing. We broke God's commandment. God sent us through slavery. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, we are in captivity, scattered worldwide. How do we come out from that situation? Now watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 1.
Mhm.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse.
Now the curse is we being in captivity, slavery, all over the planet. And everywhere we go, we are the ones who live in ghettos. The prisons houses are filled by us. Our brothers and our sisters are single mothers all over the place. You understand? We're selling drugs, killing one another on the street, everywhere. America, Jamaica, Britain, we gunshot one another. You know what I mean? The curses we are in, when they come upon us, this is how we come out. Read again. Verse 1,
book
yeah.
of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee.
Now, as we know, as I said earlier on, I mentioned so many curses that we are going through, yeah? God says, if all this come upon us, and we said we want to come out of it, what do we do? Read.
And thou shalt call them to mind.
Now we need to meditate and think that we are the children of Israel. Yeah? We're not Jamaicans. We're not Black British. We're not Africans. Now we have to understand that we are the children of Israel.
Yes.
And as children of Israel, God gave us laws to keep. And we broke that laws. Yeah? Read.
Among all the nations whither the Lord thy God have driven thee.
So everywhere we scatter, that's where we start meditate on that. Are we in prison? Are we on the streets? Are we selling drugs? That's where we need to pause and says, hey, hold on a minute. Why am I doing this?
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.
You understand? How do I get here? How do I find myself in this situation? Now, when we meditate on things like that, that's the beginning of a change. Yeah? Read on.
And shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day.
Now we reflect ourselves in the Bible that, hey, God gave us commandment. We are not keeping the commandment. That's why I'm selling drugs. I'm not keeping the commandment. That's why I'm breaking the Sabbath day. I'm not keeping the commandment. That's why I'm fornicating. I'm not keeping the commandment. That's why I found myself in jail. I'm not keeping the commandment. That's why I broke up with my missus. Yeah? If we meditate on things like that, now we come back to the laws of God and began to keep God's commandment. Read.
Thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
That means we have to do it fully. Now that we repented and come back, we have to dedicate fully in keeping God's commandment. Everything that we don't know, it's time for us to observe, meaning study, and know that, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Study to detail and apply those laws. Read.
That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee.
Now, when we began to do the examine ourselves and think about our wrong ways and change and apply the God's commandment, that is where God began to change his mindset and says, let me go and deliver them from their captivity. Read.
And will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will I, the Lord thy God, gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
You see that? We read in Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 27. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 27, that the Lord will scatter us among all the nations. Yeah, and we shall be left few in number where he has driven us. Now God is saying that if we repent and change our mind, now he's gonna stop the slavery, the oppression we're going through, and gather us from the four corners of the earth. Everywhere we've been scattered, now he's gonna have compassion on us and deliver us from thence. So that's the solution. You understand that? We try everything: Christianity, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, stealing, lying, fighting, selling drugs, everything we're supposed to, every business. You said food business. Yeah? You done food business. It's another way of trying to survive. We try everything. The only thing we have not tried is what? Reading this Bible, understand that it's our constitution. Applying those laws. That's the only thing we have not tried. You understand that? So moving forward, you know you can read, right?
I understand what you're saying.
Yes, sir. So on this perspective now, if you pick the Bible and start reading, you see that you start connecting the dots again. Now I understand it's going to work. Everywhere you see Israel, the Lord is referring to you. And listen to what the Lord is telling them as Israelites. You understand? Now, when you understand the Bible on that perspective, now the lights start turning on. I'm not a Jamaican anymore. I thought I was Black British. I'm not. I'm Israelite. Find myself in Britain, Nottingham, because of slavery. You understand?
Yeah.
And now, this is the way forward, keeping God's commandment. So you're going to teach your household. You're going to be the man, stand up first, applying God's laws, and tell your family, listen, this is what I'm moving. And I want everybody to move. What is a nation?
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.